Hey, book besties. I am here to share my yes, no, maybe for February. Now, I read 9 books this month. Only one of them was a DNF. So, 8 books read, 1 book not completed. Um, I really enjoyed the books I had this month, and I can't wait to talk to you about them. First, I had One Last Rainy Day. Now, this is a spin-off series from the Ravenhood series, and this is Dominic's story. I was actually really looking forward to this, and it felt almost unnecessary. So this ended up being a no for me, which was a huge letdown for me. I don't know, but I am planning on continuing the rest of this series. There are 3 more books to this one. Honestly, I kind of wish this one would have just been chapters from Dominic's point of view in the book Flock. I think this would have flowed much better. Second is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. This one, I love slow burns. This almost was too slow for me at first, but because I love Ali Hazelwood's writing, I trusted the process, and I'm so glad I stuck with it because this ended up being such an adorable book. I love kind of coming of age stories, and this kind of gave that feel a little bit with some romance, spice, and just some growing of friendships too. And can I say, this copy of the book is absolutely gorgeous. So this one was a yes for me. Second was Icebreaker. Now, I absolutely love this cover. I think the book is absolutely gorgeous. And I had a lot of fun annotating the book. But this one ended up being a maybe for me. The main female character and one of her friendships just, I don't know, it was too toxic. I felt like it should have been resolved way sooner than it was. And I just really wasn't a fan of the main female character. But the main male character and his teammates are what saved this book for me. I do plan on continuing the series. Next, I read 5 Feet Apart, and this is by Rachel Lippincott. I hope I'm saying that right. I knew this was going to be sad. I knew I was probably going to cry, and I did. But it was beautiful, and I loved it, and I love young romance, and this delivered perfectly. And again, isn't that cover gorgeous? And then last night I read watched the movie. I intentionally did not watch the movie until I was going to read this. Now, I bought this book like shortly after it came out. Or actually, it was shortly after the movie came out. And then I saw this cover of the book and I bought it. And then it just sat on my shelf. So I'm glad I finally read this. The book was amazing. The movie was amazing. And I very strongly recommend both. So this was a yes for me. I had the pleasure of reading another Lucy Score book. Now, this was a buddy read with a friend of mine, and we're both Lucy Score fans, so we absolutely had to do this together. Now, this book I actually found tucked in a shelf on one of my library book sales, and when I saw it, I'm pretty sure I screamed right then and there. And it was a quick read, so I knew I just had to squeeze it in this month, and I'm glad I did. It was a little slow and kind of like underwhelming in a couple parts, but this is still a yes for me. I plan on continuing this series, and I highly recommend this and really any Lucy Score book. There's also The Measure. I don't know if I would qualify this as like a dystopian book or like a psychological thriller, since it does happen in modern day. This book was published, I believe, in 2021. So modern day, with a modern day feel, with a little bit of like a paranormal like twist to it, because of something that occurs. So everybody wakes up one day with a box, and it has their name on it, and there's an inscription that says the measure of your life lies within, and there's a string, and they discover everybody has a different length string, and they soon realize that the length of the string portrays the time left you have in your life. And this follows, I think it was like 7 different people. Usually I struggle with that, but I think the audiobook helped me kind of keep everybody's story straight. And the author wrote this in such a way that I didn't jumble up the characters, and I think that was a huge help. And this is by Nikki Erlich. This was amazing, and I'm going to find other books by this author, because if this one was good, I can only imagine what the rest of her stuff is like. And of course, Onyx Storm. It felt like this one took me forever, and it was kind of a struggle for me to get to, not because I was enjoying it, because fantasy just takes me a little bit longer sometimes, but Rebecca Yarros did it again for us. My only complaint about this book, and why I'm tempted to throw it across the room, is that we now have to wait 2 years for more answers, and I just don't know if I will survive that. I did also read this book, First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. This was my DNF. I tried hard since it was a book club read, and I only made it chapter 4, and I just found myself not enjoying it. I actually found myself kind of bored, so I just decided to pass for now. Now, I have read B.K. Borison in the past. I have read her Love Light Farm series. I have only the last book in that series left to read. I do plan on giving that book a chance, and I may go back to First Time Caller, but for now, I'm going to pass on it. The last book that I read was King of Pride by Ana Huang, and this is the second book in the King of Sin series. And this one was a maybe for me, only because it just didn't flow how I thought it was going to. It felt kind of disjointed. I did love seeing other characters and references to other of Ana Huang's books, but this one was kind of a bummer for me. I do plan on continuing the series. I do recommend this still for those who love Ana Huang to read it. I would call this more of a palate cleanser in this series, and I hope to continue the series into March and April. Let me know what you read this month, what your favorites were, what maybe wasn't what you thought it was going to be. Share below. I can't wait to hear.